dogs.
We got tons of people with mad followers.
Word.
We can go down the line of people, any Rolodex you want, woman name drop. You see what I mean? You got tons of followers, but creating leaders, nah. I mean, so that's, nah, yeah.
One of the things we see, you know, that's also going on, just a lot of infighting. Like if you look at just some things that are happening recently, you know, with the Dr. Umar Johnnson situation, a lot of people give their energy to a lot of these people, a lot of people who are teaching them information. Now, we in the era of, you know, the teachers are the ones who's getting, we got Francis Cress Wilson and, you know what I'm saying, Dr. Sabi and all of these people who have taught us certain situations. And those are the things that, you know, we were able to use in our lives to help us have a better lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Do you still see some of the teachers, or is it come to a point where it's just too much like infighting or internet fighting? You know what I'm saying? Where people aren't really learning anymore, but it's more about the entertainment aspect, you know, where people love the entertainment. They love the fighting. They love the back and forth. You know what I'm saying? This is what gets them to click on that video, or, you know what I'm saying? But it's like to the point where what happened to the part of learning? Because I remember that's what made me like, oh, I want to get information so I could at least, you know, my cousin, he was into Christianity, so I wanted to get that ammo to be like, yo, nah, you know what I'm saying? This is what I learned. Go check this. You know what I'm saying? Giving you facts to actually wake you up to whatever dream you in, because that's what it used to be about, at least for me. You know what I'm saying? So what's your thoughts on just the infighting and the fact that it's not as much teaching going on, or it's not as much exciting even within the people to even want to learn as much? You know what I'm saying? Because they're more entertained than the BS going on.
Entertainment, education.
Edutainment.
Yeah, edutainment. So the people are more impressed by the entertainment aspect.
I mean, it's the views that show that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not really. I'm not saying like these are what the.
I'm
We
just
see
making
the
sure.
comments. Them joints is, you know, sometimes I see a video where somebody's just trying to break down some information, and it's not as, you know, much views as a point as, yo, son, he's exposing son. You know what I mean? Everybody's on it. Like, what heard that? But I'm not saying that it's always a bad thing. Some people, if they're hurting people, they need the truth to be said. Like, if somebody's do people dirty, yeah, of course. But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it doesn't always seem. It just seems like sometimes it'd be more tearing down than anything.
You know, it's funny. We had a discussion earlier, and I was saying that in a science book in modern age, it has to have a page with the formulas on it. It has to have a section with the glossary. It has to have a section with references. Got to have a section for definitions. So that way, all of those things that most people would argue over,
it's right there.
It's right there.
Yeah.
So I think we got to get, and that's part of being analytical. You know, as a carpenter, you lay your frames in 16 inches. The wall, you can put them down there however you want. I took apart walls and saw a 8-foot wide wall with 4 studs in it. You know what I mean? 4, and it's like, whoa, what are y'all doing? The wall stood up there for how many years? Part of the reason why you put it in 16s is not just for structural integrity. It's because the next person coming after you was taught that it's in 16s. So it's a way of communicating to the next person. So as soon as he finds his first one, he can now fix this part of the wall. Because he knows this is in 16s, he know you got a beam going across, he know the floor was angled, but you leveled the beams and you leveled the floor so you can make this is the way we can communicate in the future. But if you're not coloring your wires, you're just using yellow wires with all your wires is yellow in the wall, what are you doing? And so we've been doing a lot of talking and building, but now thinking analytically and practically for the next generation. We're talking about the same Bible a lot of times, people are. So whatever was said in the 70s pretty much is still relevant now that kind of knocks out the Bible in 2 nights. It's even stronger.
Yeah.
You know, so we should have a nice little curriculum set up. So whoever's watching this, it's and if you want to see a curriculum, and that's part of the thing that I have an issue with, we don't have any curriculum. We're gonna have one when I finish with it, and other educators, but we don't got none. I'm not talking about some bullet points with you should read this in book. No. It's 2018. A curriculum has the necessary materials. It has how long you should teach, what exactly they're supposed to learn in each subject. It has the lesson plans, needed materials that goes with it, accompanying videos, resources, what the child's supposed to learn or the subject's supposed to learn, retain. That's how you break down a curriculum. So if I'm going to teach you how to set up a camera, do basic angles, I'm going to show you the 3 angles. I'll make sure you learn each one. I'm going to show that you can learn it. I'm going to show you did 3 different examples, blah, 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 so on and so forth. That's how our curriculum is supposed to be laid out. So when I say I have an institute working with black youth and I need a curriculum for black children, I'm not buying your book. When I can go right there on newyork.org and get a free curriculum from the government that's up to date like that. Now, it's not pro-black. But the reality is, this is the time we're in. These white people are figuring out how to provide education to millions of people for free. As shitty as it may be, we're not able to do it for free. With shitty. I would love to see a shitty-ass black-owned school with 500 kids in it running just as shitty as these white schools. And not saying we can't do it. I'm cool with that. That way we'll figure out what to do to make it not shitty. Or if not, that's just what we want. You know what I mean? But I know I don't want no shitty. I'm going to figure it out. And so I'm bringing back to the original topic. Again, I don't know if I might have spun a little too quick. On what you call it. The real information that we're not giving to the people, what people are being told that they're given, doesn't bring about much. So if we're talking about religious rhetoric, that stuff is footnotes and basic videos. We can do a documentary, a little cartoon. Look, watch these 4 videos, read these 5 links. You're no longer an avid Christian. It's that simple. You know what I mean? We don't got time to be spending all that. If you want to get your OSHA card, you watch these 4 videos, 5 videos, you answer these questions, you follow the links, you got your OSHA card. You want to learn how to take off a starter, so we're making it like it's mad extra stuff and it's not that serious, but because we're not thinking analytically, in my opinion, the information is not being transferred to the next generation properly. So we're not building in 16ths, we're just throwing walls up and talking about, look at the building I built. But I don't understand how you built your building because you didn't write down how you built it. You're just too focused on selling me your building. And so that's what I see. I see a lot of people selling us their books, but it's like, yo, bro, what can I get out of your book? So and then that goes back to what are we really teaching? So again, XyayX is about master your craft. What craft do you got? Can you weld? Can you fold? Can you iron? Can you smelt? What can you do? You know what I mean? If we got 1 million black men and only 100,000 of them can do something, what's everybody else doing? Either y'all working for somebody or y'all following and so if our leaders are not thinking about what information are we giving our people over a period of time. People laugh at me in the community when I talk about the GED. I'm like, yo, y'all motherfuckers crazy. Like, there's millions of black people who will not ever get a job that makes over $16 an hour because of that. What are you talking about? You can't even live in California, New York, there and there with that type of money.
So you think some of the practical uses of things have lost way in a sense?
Yeah, and a lot of it, the religious rhetoric, we're selling our religious books, the meaning of the moon, ISIS papers, and it's like, look, B, that's cool, but we need to know how to make bricks. We need to know how to smoke metal and melt metal and bore our own metals to make our own guns. I don't know nobody know how to do that. We know how to make I'm about to get these Adreno kits. When the next set of donations we get, we buying at least 10 to 15 Adreno kits and a whole motor kit so that our children can learn. how to put together whole computer chips, whole cars that can function on their own, and other types of devices like that based off of the technology, electromagnetic understanding, electromotive understanding, and that way we can do something. But if we're not teaching the next generation, and I'm not just saying buying it and doing it, no, we need to come up with a lesson plan. This is how you teach black kids how to build race cars with Adreno kids. White people pay millions of dollars right now for that.
Who's going to teach them that?
That's our job.
Who knows how to do that?
Shit, I know how to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't know how to do it, go watch YouTube. I bought the molecular kits a year ago, and I put the challenge out, don't brag about melanin if you can't make melanin with a molecular kit. Because I can bring you a bunch of white Russian kids that will make melanin on a molecular kit and then show you how to manufacture all types of other shit. If we not talking on that level, excuse all the curse, I'm going to throw it down. If we not talking on that level, what we talking about? You see what I mean? So, like, don't brag about knowing melanin. Oh, melanin, 6 neutron, cubons, whatever that, carbon. No, let me see you making on that. So the kits were sitting there unopened for a year. I said, you know what, man, this is BS. Let me go open these kits up and open up my chemistry book and go back, and I completely forgot about covalent bonds and all that good stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is fun. I got to get the kids doing this. I did one class with the kids. Kids is walking around. You got to see it. Kids walking around. Where's my oxygen molecule? I need another covalent bond. Yo, where's the carbon? This is how you teach it to them.
Make it fun.
Make it fun. And this is how we show them this is why we're special. Me and my brother was talking about amino acids. And we're like, look, let's take it to the next level. Let's show the kids with the molecular science kits the differences in amino acids and why our body is carbon-based and we need carbon-based molecular acids. Amino acids, but they're feeding us, nitrogen-based ones. We don't understand this. So when he's telling people about nitrogen, it just sounds cool, and so we need to bring it to that next level where we're teaching ourselves this and we know how to do it over a period of time that's measurable and that's repeatable. And if we can't do that, we're not teaching the next generation. And so I don't care about your book that you wrote. I need more than that. If you can't teach us how to freaking put up a wall, lay bricks, fix mountains, drill, whatever type of dope shit like that, I don't know what you're talking about. 2018, you pro-black on a white man's computer kicking that knowledge. You know, it sound cool to me.
What are your thoughts on some of the infighting and the reflection it has on the conscious community or just the people who are involved and things like that? You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna keep from trying to drift.
Because you've banged on dudes before. You know what I'm saying? You've been, you know what I mean?
Nah, they know what time it is. And I don't say it's an infighting. I just think right now, the community is very delicate. But we need to go through this. We need to get over our little hiccup.
Okay, so you don't think it's infighting?
I think this is all part of the plan. Not plan, but this is part of the picture as we growing up. We got a lot of people fell in love with Umar. Don't fall in love with nobody's plan unless you read the plan on paper. That's business. Nobody deserves $1 million if you ain't got no plan. You only gonna lose, or go back to the original, a fool and his money is soon parted. We were the fools.
So with all the allegations, he's going to court on Monday. You know what I'm saying? Are you under the, understanding that the charges that he's been charged with is official and everything like that?
No, the charges are official. I say to Umar and anybody else in the future, we are at war. These crackers do not like us. These coons do not support you and are not with you. You have to make sure your shit is clean. Nobody else. Know where you at. I don't have a school. I have a learning space. It's called the Learning Center. We have the XyayX Institute, which provides educational programming to the community, education services. I don't have a school. Don't nobody in here says the word school. I don't do daycare. I don't do after school. It's the law. So I just can't jump around. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a certified teacher. I instruct. You see what I mean? I'm an educator. I'm an instructor. I'm not a teacher. I can teach, but there's a difference between being a teacher. I didn't finish college. I dropped college out to do my business. Everybody I was in college with, I'm like, the only reason I want to go to college is so I can help black people. I just want to become really smart. That's why I went to school for astronomy. I was like, yo, my ego was, I want to know this. I want to be the smartest. And I got in a room full of old white people that was doing mathematical computations in their head. We was in the planetarium, and I'm sitting there with all these old white people. I'm the only black dude in the program, and these old white people paid thousands of dollars to learn. I'm in there. Neil deGrasse Tyson's one of the teachers, came in on special lecturers, Charles Liu, who's always on TV, and I'm sitting and watching these old white people, I'm talking about do computations like this in their head. And we got issues with understanding basic ratios. There's 1 million black people that do not know how to do ratio equations in Brooklyn and in New York City. Think about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So who, like, where does that go then? Like, you know what I'm saying? Where you see, because the public school's not going to continue to teach that, and now you're saying at the same time we have to be certified, like, through them in a sense to be able to teach us the right things, or
we just got to know what we're saying.
Okay.
That's where it goes back to Umar. We got to know what we're saying, and the community has to know the difference between what's going on and allowing us to jump out the window. I understand wanting to jump out the window. A lot of us came out of college with dope ideas and wanted to jump all the way out the window, and some of us had a dope window to jump out of. Your window was on the 50th floor, so when you jumped, you had all type of air behind you. Some of us jumped from the first floor and landed right there and just went on with regular life. You know, some of us had a lot of wind behind our ideas, so to say. And so by the time we realized that the idea was not good, we had to keep flying.
So with the whole school, because I was one of the people, you know, who really loved the idea. You know what I'm saying?
It's a great idea.
You know
The concept
that's
is a great
like,
idea.
when I first heard it, I was like, this is dope. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But if we go to where modern schools are now, nobody's building those type of schools. You see what I mean? General Pratt started those type of schools. He was a racist cracker who started the first actual school that was federally funded. You see what I mean? I believe it was, and it was purpose was to indoctrinate Native Americans to become American. And so the concept of boarding school comes from General Pratt. That's the whole Pratt Institute. That's why Pratt's involved. Pratt was a general. He was a war person. And so I don't believe in, I understand the concept of taking a bunch of kids out and put them in a boarding school, but that's not modern. You see what I mean? When they're breaking down all these schools and turning them into 10-room schools. You see what I mean? When we have a Rolodex of volunteers all over the place. You see what I mean? Our plans can't, this is guerrilla war. We're not on the winning side. We're on the survive. You see what I mean? And long as we survive, we win. Because they're fighting because they want power, but their power's already lost genetically. White people already lost that power. But we just got to survive and not just turn into them. And so in the mix of doing that, some of us become married, become married to our ideas. And in guerrilla war, you can't. Like, today we was going to go blow up this bridge. We got over there, they had a bunch of guns. Let's go back in the tunnel, figure out something else. We sitting there like, oh man, y'all didn't want to go blow up the bridge. Bro, shut your ass up. We couldn't go. That's it. You see what I mean? So I'm not married to this space here. You got to be fluid. Whatever comes, you got to pause. You got to run with it. You see what I mean? It might be a space here. We might find an abandoned building in Long Island and be like, yo, let's build a space here. It might be somebody hit us up off of this video. Somebody might hit us right off this video. I want to do something with y'all in Chicago. We there. We there. Somebody hit me up in Nigeria. We got a building we trying to do. When you want to help us out? Yes, let's do it. It's guerrilla war. Whatever we have, let's take advantage of it. In this video I did with Sanada, I specifically showed I bought 3 computers for the school, for the institute, and those 3 computers are then at 10 years old. And we've been using them for a year straight with no problem. You know what I mean? Even when I mess up and say school, I always make sure I say institute. I don't have a school. And I institute, and I learn to send it. We got old computers that they still work. So while people are running down to say, oh, I want to build an educational program, oh, I got to buy the newest Macs. No, you don't. You can go buy 25 old Macs for half the price you was going to buy the new ones for and service way more kids. and we just got to be practical about it. And I think we're not. We're not an idea. I'll go into that one. Yeah, we.
I wanted to kind of jump topic a little bit too. Just speaking on schools and just learning and the children and the youth and everything like that. What's your idea of like homeschooling and parents homeschooling their kids? Because we know the private schools, public schools now, they're like teaching many different new topics and things like that, and they're opening up the kids to just a different aspect of learning that is more controlling with what they want or what the board of education wants the kids to learn. And what's your thoughts on parents taking more control of what their kids are able to learn and being taught, and the hardship in actually being able to self home teach, and if it's even legal, the legalities and things like that, dealing with that in America. You know what I'm saying?
Well, one is statewide. So if you are interested in homeschooling, look up your state laws, your county laws, and see exactly what the particulars are you would have to do in order to undertake that. Homeschooling is a Band-Aid. We need our own school system. So until we get that, we have to figure that out. So we need to create little small spaces like this where we can have multiple people in an area, a district come together. So I was gonna say that is one of my plans. I have 10 cities I'm focused on, 15 at large, 10 cities in particular. In those 10 cities, I plan on building little learning centers like this. And with the help of y'all people watching, we need little learning centers. This space is about $1,000 a month. We can get 2 of these spaces in other states. With the community help, I go down my whole practicality. I'm gonna call it practicality. Black power through practicality, something like that. But it's very simple to set up, and we can have a space like this, and our space satisfies services then at 30 children. And that's without funding and only a year in. We continue to grow, we can get that up to 50 to 100 people per district. And so just knowing that if 30 to 50 people putting up $20 to $50 a month, that's all you need to get the space, basic functionality running. Then after that, just based off the services, you can get a lot of grants, you can get extension money, people will donate, but the space itself is running. Then from there, the volunteers, it's running. So that's the most important, getting a space, volunteers, and having the community support it. And in the 10 cities that I'm focused on, I know that's more than doable. And so we can attack that issue. And I think ideas like that versus, not to say Umar'S, but I personally don't see Umar'S idea as realistic, to build one school and have children shipped off. I understand some parents may need that for special needs children or children who have a certain backlining history, but personally, I don't see the need to separate the children from the community. I personally have a reversal view where we have learning centers like this that are supported by the pro-Black community. You only need 20 businesses to put up $50 a month, and that space is up and running by itself. In any city, we can find 20 businesses in any city that's pro-Black to put up $50. We're just being sold the wrong ideas by leaders who don't know how to actually make things come to fruition. And that's why they're not understanding it and saying like, hold on, you're telling me all we need is 20 people to put up $50 a month and we can have a space like this servicing 50 kids? And if we really pushed it up, we can have literally 100 kids running through this. It's just about organization of time. Japanese mastered small spaces. We New Yorkers, we love New York. We have to use small space. Y'all are out of town. Y'all got all types of space for $500 a month. Jersey, $700, you get a whole storefront building for that price. That way, now the people who run the businesses are directly connected to a community service, which is a taxable credit. One right there. Now that brings us to controlling the tax base. We have a rallying spot for the youth. If the children are homeschooled, this is a place that they can go to supplement or help them as well as they're doing their homeschooling process. The children who are regular school can come there and supplement what they're getting in school. And we'll have the numbers at a small space to say, look, in Chicago, we went from 50 kids to 100 kids in a year. We want to build a building here. Jay-Z, look, you want to spend some money? We only need $100,000 and we can buy this building and we can take it up to this level with the volunteers. I want to keep volunteer power because we have to keep right here in our head, we have to do this. We have to invest. I'm not paying you. You got to do this. And if you don't want to do this, everybody need to know you a bird because you don't care about us. And that way it starts to get clear. Then we know who to pay. You done came here 4 weeks in a row working for free. Oh, we got the bag, boy, here. Thank you. Thank you. Now you're going to be like, yo, they took care of me and I'm doing it more. That's a real army. We want those people. And they're there. The community is there. I have so many people hit me up to volunteer all over the country. I have some people do the toilet. I'm like, yo, people, we want to do it. We're just not being given the practical forms of thought theoretically. You know, and I'm not saying this is the only plan. This is my personal plan. I'm like, I can do that. I can get 10 of these built. And 10 of these spots, once I get 10 of these or 10 locations, we can be doing the next goal, 50 people per location a year. Health screening in 10 cities. That's 500 people a year. 10 years, 5,000. That's a small number. But you telling me that we can't get a space like this open with our platforms that's paying for like $600 a month, electricity, everything $700 a month. Kids is in there. You telling me we can't get that up and running? And that once we get the space running, we can't screen 50 people in the community just to find out basically do they got diabetes, high blood pressure, what's their eating habits, basic shit that we don't know. Like these are small plans. This is not that difficult. But we're not being sold stuff like that and we're not being rallied around. We got the people up there worrying about, I don't know what half these dudes is worrying about. I don't know. Because I see some of them, they got some chicken. So I'm like, you got some chicken, boy, you got the bag. Like, what's up? So again, back to homeschooling and the school system, that's my personal plan. Wherever we can build an institute, let's start small and build up. Shout out to brother Marcus Klein, because he did it the same way. He started very small, build his way up until you have the students in there. And at the same time, you want to stay in the community. I don't want to take the men from the community and then send them back on some military. No, we need to figure out how we can fix us up in the shit. If I can get fixed up, you can get fixed up, we can fix us up in the mud. And if we can do that in the mud, we can do it anywhere. Because all we know is the mud. I'm not trying to get pretty over there in the clouds and come back in the mud. All I know is the mud. I'm good in the mud. You feel me? So that's where we need to be at with ourselves. And our leaders aren't selling us that. And these far off plans, like, nah, B, we need to be right there in the middle of Chicago. There was a shooting around the corner from our school. Yeah, so once the shooting happened, we went to the families and we had to sit down in our space. It was 11 o'clock at night to 3 in the morning. We were sitting in our own institute. We could do that in our space.
I mean, even with you bringing me down to Baltimore, and everything like that. I was meeting the 300 gangsters after, what happened to Freddie Gray, and them coming together on some community and having like that unity and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That kind of like one of the things that I see that, like you said, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, coming from the mud and, you know what I'm saying, that type of situation. It's like, like you said, the power is within the community, is within the people. Now, what's like one of the biggest things you see within social media where it's like beneficial or is very harmful? I'm sure, there's a lot of things harmful right now on social media and just, the freedom of expression to turn on a camera or turn on your phone right now, go live on your Facebook and Instagram and do and say whatever you want to say. And people take it and make whatever with it. You know what I'm saying? What's your thoughts on that, the positives and the negatives, and how we could best use social media to, because it's another tool that we have out there to actually bring us on another level?
One, for the people in the conscious community,